Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are doing this naughty evil cat. Check him out. Pretty scary evil cat, isn't he? Looks more like a dog, but don't tell anyone. Anyway, this is the one we're doing today, and you will need obviously your black yarn, a little bit of your green, some of your white, and you will need a 3.5mm hook. You will need a 3.25 only because yours truly, whoa, let's see if I can get a nice close-up without anything blurring. It's all blurring. There we go. Only because yours truly had a lot of issues crocheting the circle onto the actual piece. You will need a couple of stitch markers or one. You'll need your scissors and of course your darning needle. I mean, check him out. I don't even know what to call him. But he's an evil black cat. See if I can get a nice close up the other way so there's no blurring happening. How's that? Anyway guys, it's I should have done the bat as well, but I did actually run out of time. It seems that this black cat took me a very long time to do, so I will be doing the bat around this time again tomorrow. But in the meantime, look at him. He's evil. That's all we needed. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you get started with your evil black cat. Alrighty guys, for the cat we're going to need all of this and different colour yarn so you can work out eyes and nose and everything else. But in the meantime, we're just going to work on the actual black part of the cat, which will sit inside that space right there. Alright, so let's move everything out of the way. You'll definitely need stitch markers for this part, guys. Sorry, that's just part of it all really. And I can't forget these stitch markers because this is a pretty important piece, and you will also find that it will be a tiny little bit difficult to see. I'll get it as close as I can, but we'll try it, hey? So we'll start it further away because firstly what you're going to do is form a magic ring or a magic loop or a magic circle, whatever you want to call it. So grab your tail end, passing your yarn, your working yarn over your 3 fingers, forming a little cross like that. Now you're grabbing your 3.5mm hook. You're going to pop it under the first thread, pulling the back thread up and in front, and now just holding everything there. Okay, just changing your fingers. All right, first thing you're going to do is chain 1. Nice tight stitch there. Then single crochet in that space. Single crochet is pop your hook in, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now just before you go on, I'm going to do a nice close-up for you so you can see where you need to pop your stitch marker. Sorry about my fingers, real close-up of my fingers there. But right there, where there's 2 loops, that's where you need to pop your stitch marker. All right, so without pulling everything undone, pop your hook back in. And just grab your tail of that little bit there, that little tiny tail. Just give it a gentle tug. Not too much, you don't want to make that loop too small. Now all you're doing is 7 more single crochets in that space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and 7. I'm sorry, I've gotten all sing-songy already. So now what you're doing is, see your little magic loop or ring or circle or whatever you want to call it, give it a big tug. Oops, 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 you've got to hold everything now. Just give it a tug and everything should close up shop. Okay, so now popping everything at the back. I'll get a nice close-up so you can see what I'm doing. In that same stitch marker space, you're going to pop a single crochet in there. Okay, 1. Then you're going to pull the loop up, take that stitch marker out and pop it in the stitch that we just made, which is there. Okay, through those 2 loops right there. All right, and now you're going to put a single crochet in the same space as the one you just did. So that's 2 single crochets, then go into your next with 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. So you've got 2 and 4, 2 into the next, 1 and 2, and there's 6, 2 into the next, 1 and 2, and there's your 8, 2 into the next, that's 10, 2 into the next, that's 12. Try not to miss any stitches because you need 16 altogether. So 2 into the next, that's 14. And that stitch is a stitch right there, and that's 16, 2 into there. Okay, so now you have 16 all together. Yes, this is where now we need to grab our little guy right here, this piece. All right, now this piece here, the bonus is you can tell the front to the back because the eye is in front. If you were on the other side, it'd be a mess, kind of messy like that. All right, so now what we're going to do, we are not only going to single crochet in this circle, but we're also going to attach it in here. A little bit tricky, a little bit hard to see. I'll get the best close-up I can, and we'll see how we go. All right, let's see. We'll start from moving it first. Start from single crocheting in that first stitch marker. Stitch. Yes, I would take out that stitch marker and pop it in the 2 loops of the stitch we just made, which I've just tightened up, so now it's going to be hard for me to get it in there. All right, there we go. It doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter, but pop it in those 2 loops. You should come to, because this is exactly 16 stitches in the round. Now, if it's not and yours is bigger or smaller, we can fudge that. Nothing we can't fix here at Wow Crochet. All right, so we've done our first single crochet. Now what we're going to do, we're going to attach it into the corner, and I'll show you exactly where. So any corner will do, so it doesn't matter which one. Oh no, actually it has to be this corner. See where the eye is? We're working on, I'll show so you can see where we're going. We're working on from your eye just to this corner right here. Okay, so we're working right there, and I'll show you which stitch to put in a minute. But just so you know, that's where we're working, because when you get close up, it's a little bit hard to see. So there's a single crochet, yes. So picking up your corner right there, get the corner right, Mary. See, just the front stitch of the corner, and what you're doing is you are actually turning it so it's facing you. Tiny little bit fiddly, but it's nothing we can't fix. Pop your hook in that corner stitch right there. Any one of the corners, it doesn't matter. Well, it does, it has to be this corner. Just pull a loop through. And what you're doing is you're pulling the loop through to the stitch and through to the stitch on your hook. Okay, then in the same space that you just did a single crochet, you're doing a second single crochet. And then you're going to pop in the same stitch that you were in on the opposite side and pull a loop through again. Then we go into the very next stitch on our black piece. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get it as easy as possible, with 1 single crochet, and then you're going to go to the very next stitch opposite in the red, and just again pulling a loop through. You're not doing single crochet, you're just like slip stitching it through all of that area, through the red and through the black. Then you're going to pop another single crochet in the same space on the black, and in the same space on that opposite red, you're going to do exactly that. Now here's where it can get a little bit, where the stitches can come undone a bit. It can happen. Loosen it up first and then maybe tighten it up when you've done the stitch. I think that's the easiest way. All right, and then we're turning, as we're going along, just keep turning your work around. You're going to put a single crochet in your next stitch. So really you're putting 2 single crochets in the stitch and 2 single crochets in the opposite stitch on that side. All right, so that's the one we just worked in right there. So we're going to pop our hook in that. It's not single crochet, sorry, 2 slip stitches. Pop your hook in that red space, keeping it loose and then pulling it through. And then when you've got it through, you can actually tighten it up if you like. Single crochet in the same space, and again back in the same loop. A little tricky, but do it slowly, there's no rush. Yeah, then you go into your next space with a single crochet, your next stitch, 1, and then over here to the opposite stitch you're going to pull a loop through, single crochet, take your time, okay, and opposite stitch and pull through, same stitch that is, single crochet in your next stitch, and you guessed it, go to the opposite, pull that loop through, and single in the same stitch and pull the loop through in the same opposite stitch. All right, so I'll just show you where you're at so you know what you're doing. It's got to have an almost 3D-ish lift here, okay? That's the effect we want. Looks like it's not going to make it, but it will, all right? All right. Whoops. Hello. Okay. Now we are single crocheting in our next stitch. And we are slip stitching into the opposite stitch, single crochet in the same stitch, and slip stitching into the same stitch. All right, got the pattern? Easy. 1 in the next. Oops, and 1 in the opposite. Again, not a single crochet, just a slip stitch. And then single crochet again in the same space. And a slip in the opposite same space. Single in your next, a slip in your next, single in the same, a slip in the same, whoops, without losing it, in the same. If I find that it's better to keep that slip stitch a little bit loose while you're doing it, otherwise that slipping out might happen, okay? That's just a little tip there. Single in your next. And oh yeah, it's going to get real tricky now. Slip in your next. This is the area where it will get tricky. Single in your next. Oh, hang on, it's only 1, yeah? I've only done 1 in there. Let's do a second one. Don't mess up, Mary. And a slip stitch in the same stitch, keeping it loose. In your next. And slip in your next. All right, single and slip, single in the next. And when you just get to this corner, all right, when you get into this corner right here, there is a closed area. You're going to jump straight into that very next stitch. Okay, so you're turning your work a little. So jump into, skipping that space there, jumping into that. If you have too many stitches or not enough stitches towards the end, I'll show you how to join them together. Okay, so that was the first one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Do it again once. One more time. Now it's going to be very difficult to see these stitches now because we're working on the top of the eye. I'm not the eye. I keep saying the eye now, got the eye on the brain, of the cat. So single crochet 1 and then jump into your next stitch, single again in the same one, jump back into that stitch, single in the next one, jumping into the opposite. When you're going to the opposite, you're going through the 2 loops, by the way, if that helps. Okay. Single in the same and slip in the opposite. Single in your next stitch, All right, here it's going to be very, very tight. So take your time, slip in your next. Single in the same. Slip in the same. Now, if you had another way of doing your cat, that's by all means, you can go ahead and do that. I like this way because it's attached to the actual middle bit. That's what I like about it. Okay, single in, let's have a look now. It's really tight here. Okay, I've got 1 and 2, and then we have to sort of attach in the corner. Now, again, if you don't have enough, just put singles in more than one than the other. So if you've got 1 here and 3 up there, put 3 singles in here and put, 2 up there. If you've got it the other way around where you don't have enough up there, just put 1 single together here and pop it in there. So let's say you had 7 here and you only had 4 there. What you do, not everybody, just the people who are wrong, are off count 1 and 2 together and complete your single that way. All right, but for the rest of us, we're just going to pop a normal single crochet. And the same with over here, you slip stitch 2 together if you have too many, which it might look. Let me just pull this thread through because this is really annoying me. I'm just going to pull that little thread that you've got dangling, pop that through to the back of your work, because we're going to be closing up that section now. And I'm popping through the wrong thread, can you believe it? Okay, we can do this. There we go. That's just your very first thread that you started with. We probably should have cut that and weaved it in. I weaved it in first, not just cut it. We've got to cut it anyway, but you've got to weave it in first. Okay, so here we go. That's better. Now we can see what we're doing. All right, so right there is a stitch. Bit tight, but it's in there. Single in that one. Going straight to your opposite over here. There's one right there. It's a little tricky, this part. It's very tricky. And it's going to slip out, so you just have to take your time and pop that stitch through. I'm going to go single back in there. Doesn't help when you've got a stitch marker dangling off your work, but we need that stitch marker there to show us where we're finishing. Okay, all right, so now we are doing one more single right there. You can actually see it. Okay, if you're wrong and if it's out of count, just pop it in the stitch of the stitch marker if you like. So 1 in there and 1 in the very, very opposite. Just being careful not to pick up that one because that's already in there. But right here, there's a tight stitch because I've used up a lot of the stitches on the sides, so I can't get in there. All right, now this is where it's going to be extremely tight. Oh no, there we go. I'm in. Now, was that the first now? I'm forgetting. I think it was the second. All right, it doesn't matter. What we're going to do now, we're going to take out that stitch marker and we are going to slip stitch into the place where we had the stitch marker, right there, and slip stitch through the thread on your hook and pull that loop through, giving your work a cut, because we're going to muck around with that area, I think, because it kind of looks really tight. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There you go. That is the round part of your cat, or the face, if you will. But what we are going to do is we are going to thread a needle. Thread your needle with your thread, because your thread will be on this side, okay? And now you're just going to pop your thread through any space. I've got a really big space here. I'm just going to pop it through there. It doesn't matter, just so that you can get it at the back and it's out of your way. And you know what, since we've got it, let's weave it in. It's here, we may as well weave it in, and it's out of our hair. That is the most difficult part of this tutorial, guys. Trust me. So find a place where you would like to weave in your ends. It doesn't matter. It's at the back. No one's going to see it. So there you go. Okay. But still, you know, you still want to make it a little bit neat. You don't want it too messy. Making sure you can't see the needle from this end. Otherwise, it's going to look messy at the front. And you don't want that. Just one more time because, you know, yours truly, a little bit of a stickler. All right. It was an awkward thing to do. Later on when you get an opportunity, actually no, we'll do it now quickly. That way you can see. When you're doing magic rings, magic loop, magic circle, whatever you want to call them, don't let anyone tell you that you don't need to weave in that end. You do. And you really need to weave it in very well. So find an area, first give it a tug so you're closing up the space. Find an area where you can just weave it in and out, making sure you can't see the needle in the front, and you can't, which is very good. Just, oh dear, I've made the thread too short. I mean too long. There you go. Okay. And now weaving it back in and out any area of the back that you can, but you need to do it quite a few times. This is really thick here, so we probably won't need to do it so many times, but still I'm going to do it one more time. At least 3 times. Oh, that might have gone through. Yeah, it did. See? Sometimes you've got to check what you're doing. You need to check what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll make a mistake like I just did. Okay, and is that okay? That's perfect. And that's your 3rd time. There's no way that's coming undone. Oh, it's not going to come undone anyway. It's really tight in there. Give it a cut, gentle tug, and that's the hard part of your cat done. So, there's your eye, there's your face. Question is, where do you want to put his ears? Do you want him to sit that way? Or do you want him to sit that way? Because when that's facing on you, that's where it will be. Yes? So what do you want to do? Entirely up to you, how you want his ears to be. Regardless, you need to pop them in that top stitch of the black, which is going to be really, really tight. So if you wanted to, you could use a smaller hook. This is a 3.25. I think I might use the 3.25 because I think trying to get, you could use a 3mm or anything you like, 2 point something, whatever. Trying to get your hook through those black stitches that we made is going to be ordinarily a little difficult. If you want to use your 3.5, by all means, you can continue using that. I'm changing to my 3.25 and I want my cat's ears to go there because I want him, the cat, looking at the eye, and I want the bat looking at the eye, and I want the eye to be able to see both of them because he can, because he's sitting on an angle. So I'm going to pop his ears there. Why? Well, pretty much because I can. You pop the ears anywhere you like, all right? But I'll show you exactly how many stitches in between you can use. And this is where I'm going. So I might do this ear first because it's easier for you to see. Right in that corner right there, that corner stitch there, okay? First thing you're going to do is take it out of the red, just so that you knew where the corner was. So the corner of that red was right there, all right? And that's where we're popping our hook. Grabbing your black again, pulling the loop through. Sorry about the enlarged fingers, guys. I really just wanted you to see these stitches. Maybe I should have done this in a really large piece of thread, I think. Might have been easier. Okay, so you're chaining 1, turning your work. That's right, we're turning our work. We're going to be working in the back of those single crochets. So single in your first, and a second single in that first as well. Go into your next with a single, and another single in there. Turning your work. I'm sorry, chaining 1, turning your work. Skipping that first single, going into your next with a single, 1, single in your next, 2, chaining 1, turning your work, and a single just in that next. Pull a loop up, give it a cut. Ear number 1 is done. All right, to do our next ear, grabbing your tail and your hook. Now, when I started this ear, we worked from there and then we worked across, but we turned our work when we started. So your next ear is actually going to start from the middle when you turn it around. I'm not going to explain it, we'll just go ahead and do it. So there's your 1 single crochet, your 2nd single crochet. I'm sorry, where is it? Let's get close. I'm sorry, I'll get really close, you can see it. You've got your chain in that 1st single crochet, so don't worry about that. You've got a single crochet there, 1, single 2, and single 3. All right? Yeah, 3. That's right. I'm trying to think of how far back I went. Grab your thread and just pull that loop through. I'm just trying to think. Sorry, guys. I'm going to grab my tail, passing it forward, chaining 1. Then, like we did before, I'm going to turn my work and popping a single crochet in the 1st space, right there, 1st single crochet, 1, pop another one in there, 2, oops, go into your next stitch, 1 and 2, and then you're chaining 1 and you're turning your work. Now you are skipping that 1st single crochet, you're jumping into your next 1 and into your next 1, chain 1, turn it again, skip the 1st, go into your next, pull up a loop, cut, and there's your 2nd ear done. Okay, we're going to be weaving in those ends later. Just give the other one a tug, give that a tug. Later we'll be weaving in these ends, so don't worry too much about them. And there's your ears. Your ears are supposed to stick out. If you are really worried and you don't want them sticking out, by all means pop a thread in there and a thread in there. I like them sticking out. I like them like that. I really do. Now, question you need to ask yourself, because this is the easy bit now. What colour eyes do I want? And what colour little nose do we want? I think I'm going to stick with a little white nose and maybe give him green eyes. I'm trying to stick in theme with what we have already. It doesn't really matter. Whatever colours that you like, I'm going to stick with the green and the white. All right, now this part does get a little messy, guys. So if you wanted to, you could weave in all those ends first. Yours truly is not going to, because I'm a sucker for punishment. All you're going to do is cut a little bit of whatever colour you want for his nose. I'm using the white. You can use anything you like. Now, I'm sorry guys, you have to use a sewing needle for this part. Very sorry. Very sorry. But you know, it's all part of it really. Now, obviously she has a little round bit there for when we first started. So if you can grab your needle, pop it through that little center right there, pulling up your white. Now remember, your white doesn't have a knot, so just leaving a long tail. We're going to tie a knot in the back later and then just weave that in. All right, so what you're going to do here, now really it doesn't matter, find a space, pop your needle through any space you like, and you're giving him that, you ever seen the cat noses where they go that way, and then across, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So I've popped it through sort of on an angle near his ear. Okay, turn it back around again, just trying to find a space where I can pop it back through. Actually, no, we'll pop it back through into the same space right there. Yes, or as close to it as you can get. Again, being careful not to pull that white thread through, because you still need that. Now you're going to do exactly the same. Pop it through another space, another little space on the side there. It's just one of the stitches of your work. There. Yes. Now this is the area up the top where we're going to close up his nose. So what you're going to do is just find the opposite stitch that you were in, which is right there. Easy so far? 2, easy. Go back into the opposite stitch, but this way. And there you go. And there's his nose. Now, to finish that nose off, you could leave the little black in the middle if you like, or you could go over it with the white, like this. I'm not going to. I like the little black in the middle. I think it looks cute like that. I really do. In fact, I'm going to leave it like that. It's just more work than it's worth. You really didn't need such a big thread either. All you're doing is tying that little thing in a knot. If you want to, do the knot quickly. To make that more prominent, you could actually go over it again. Actually, that might be a good idea. I think, yeah, I might just go over it again. We'll just go over. What can happen? So you find a spot, and really all you're doing is you're going over the area, the same area we just went into. So you're going over it, and that's just giving it a thicker look about it. Now I've gone over it that way, we're going over it this way. I still have to do that top area, I haven't done that yet. So just find another area to go into, which is there. Go over it one more time, and then after that, this is the part where we should have tied the knot, but doesn't matter. Tie it one more time, and then just weave in the ends at the back, really. I wouldn't stress too much because we've gone over it a few times, so it's not going to come undone, but just weave it through once and then maybe twice. It won't come undone, trust me. But it is better to do that third time right there. Cut. That one's actually weaved in because we had to, really, if you think about it. You're going to be weaving in that end as well when you get a chance, but that is his nose done. It's so cute. He's so cute. Okay? He is so cute. Now we are going to do his eyes. Again, you might need a little bit of a longer tail just to get in and out of the actual cat himself. Okay. Oops, let's get a nice close-up. All right, his eyes. Where do you want to put his eyes? Again, entirely up to you. You need to decide exactly where you think his eyes could go. Now, I think that nose is a little bit too high, but I'm going to put his eyes across that way. It doesn't matter. Just find a stitch that you like. And if you want to really get pedantic and asymmetrical, then go ahead and use measurements. Yours truly is not going to. I'm just going to pop it through one into another like that. And then I'm going to keep going over an area. Oh no, I should have weaved. Maybe I should have weaved those ends in right there. Oh dear. Go back into the same stitch that you started with, which is right there. Yes. Oh dear. I have made a mess here. There we go. I'm doing all right. All right. So you're going straight back into the same stitch on the opposite side, because what you're doing now is you're making that green eye a little thicker. And you're not only just making it thicker, you're moving it over a little bit. So I'm making another spot there. You can be a little bit higher, can a little bit lower, whatever. But you want to make this eye a little bit wider on both sides. See how it's coming like that? If you want to make it longer, I think we'll make it a bit longer. I don't like how small it is. So we're going to pop it a little bit higher and then go back over here. Just over and over again until your eye looks like a little bit of a cat's eye. Okay? I think this nose is far too high. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. Well, we've got a big mess to clean in all these ends. Okay, so come back in front. Oh, not that low. Right in front there. And back over here. Just keep going over and over and over and over again until you are happy with the look. I think that's enough for me. I'm not going to overdo it. Oh no, I'll do one more. As you do. And I've tangled all the yarns in here. Oh dear, I've made such a mess. Yep. And the more you do, it's kind of like the higher you go. So you're making his eyes, or the lower, you're making his eyes more like that little diamondy kind of look, little pointy look. So it gives him a little bit of, as they say, cat eyes. Okay, I think that's enough. So I'm going to turn it around. Turn it around. Oh dear, I've made a mess here. Hello. Here we go. And we're just going to do a normal knot without losing the thread. And a knot there. And whilst I've got this needle on, I'm going to just do this one weaving in. Again, not necessary for you to do it. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But I would weave in because, you know, you never know. I mean, we're only going to use this twice a year. Unless you like wearing Halloween gear all year round, by all means, go ahead. But there you go. So that's one eye. What I want for you to do is to find another spot and do the other eye on the other side. Alrighty guys, so what I would like for you to do, go ahead and make that second eye on your own. But while we're here, we are going to make a quick cat mouth. Did I forget the mouth? Yes, I did. How do you forget a mouth? Anyway, grab any colour you like. I'm actually going to use the white again. Not necessary for you to use white. You can use orange, you can use grey, you can use any colour you like. But yours truly is going to use the white. Again, we probably could have used the leftover white from there, but never mind. And pop your needle anywhere you like. It's too low, it's too high, sorry. Right there, right there. Oh, it's so far away. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. That's better. Pop your needle anywhere you like. Just find a space anywhere. It doesn't matter. The mouth, again, it's entirely up to you how you want your mouth to go. I would like it to go like that and then across that way and then up again. But again, it's entirely up to you. And I would actually pop the eye in first before doing this part so you can keep some things asymmetrical, but I really don't care. You like that one? It doesn't matter, really. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Now you've already got, pop that through, leaving yourself a thread. Now you've already got the design of that roundness done for you. So all you're doing, skipping over a few stitches, popping your needle through like so. Again, no right or wrong way of doing this. Going up a little bit across there like so. No right or wrong way of doing this. You keep hearing me say that because there isn't. Go back into that stitch right there. There's no measurement. Okay. All right, easy. It's good. It's so good. I'm getting excited. Now, where are we? It's going to go through the back way. It's just a lot easier for me to do it that way. And then go back into that same space. And then going back into the middle. See how it's a lot thicker now? And the thicker it is, the better it looks. Like there. I've just pulled a loop through, haven't I? Oh dear, look what I've done there. Oh dear, let's fix that up. That's better. And then you just jump straight back into the middle. And again, you can move it over. You can make it thicker if you like. Again, it doesn't have to be in the exact same space. I mean, look at that. It's not exactly in the same space. All right. So I'm going to pop another eye over here to fix it up. If you want to make your cat look more catty, you can do a couple of more lines up that way, which I'm going to do. So pop your little needle up the top there. It's anywhere you like. It doesn't really matter. I think I might move it over that way there, like that, right there. And then, oh dear, I've tangled up, haven't I? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Here we go. We're done. All right, let's pull that up. All right, so there you go. I went up that way, kind of like on an angle a little bit. Gonna come straight back down into that section there, and there you go. It's giving him more of a cat look. Let's go back up again, find the space again. It's so giving him more of a cat look right there. All right, it's not the best looking cat in the world, but it's coming there. He's coming along. Then instead of going through all that again and making one side of his face thicker, I would actually just weave your tail at your end right through to the other side, right? Pop your needle in that space right there, if you can get it in, like so. And then you're doing exactly the same thing you did there, you're doing it there. Did I go too high up before? There it is. All right, so now I'm going to come back in, find the other space. Oh gosh, I can see myself pinning myself again. Every time I do these jobs, I end up pinning myself, don't I, guys? Okay, there you go. That's actually split the yarn, but it doesn't really matter. It'll still look nice. There you go. And that's his mouth. Don't forget to pop his eye on there again, guys. I would actually stop where I am now and weave in the ends. I think 2 is enough. We're going to weave in this white, making sure you're not weaving it in through the other thickness. I know I'm not, because I can feel it. It's really quite thick. And I'm going through the thinner part. Okay, so what you want to do, like that, about 3 times is enough. Don't forget to weave in the other white, by the way. Whites. I should say whites. There's a few. So there's his mouth. You need to pop another eye in there, guys. And join me tomorrow and we will do the bat. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We can hide all these ends. And I'm not going to hide them all. We can't hide them all. But it doesn't matter. We'll weave them all in and hide them all before Saturday's live. So don't forget to join me on Saturdays live at 10 a.m. every Saturday and 4 p.m. every Wednesday afternoon, Melbourne, Australia time, to discuss our projects. Okay, and don't forget tomorrow to join me so that we can do the bat on this side, and then that will be our necklace done. And next week we can work on our Halloween top. Yay! In the meantime, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all those wonderful things you do for me. And all I want to say right now is ciao for now.